All right, we're live. Thank you everyone for joining in. This is our eighth one of these already. We just finished up with Coach Nick Garcia, so if you missed that, feel free to go and watch the replay there. It'll be posted shortly. Big shout out before we get started to MF and National Throws Coach Association, who have both been sponsoring us in this and helping get the word out. You can help us get the word out for these by following National Throws Coaches Association on Twitter. That's where we're posting all the notifications. So if you want to stay in the loop, please follow us there and help share it, and we can get the word out and keep learning. Today we have Michelle Carter's joining us. We're super stoked to have Michelle on. I would imagine everybody knows the scoop, but if not, Michelle is a three-time Olympian. Reigning Olympic champion, has been a world champion, and is the American record holder with 6 of the top 10 U.S. performances ever in the women's shot put. So I'm excited to hear Michelle's thoughts on throwing and training and some fun stuff she's got going on. So welcome, Michelle. Thanks for joining us. Excited to talk with you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are you holding up in quarantine here?
We're making it. It's been different, but I've actually been enjoying the time at home. I'm normally gone a lot this time of year, so it's kind of nice to kind of be slowed down just a little bit.
Nice, awesome. We're gonna jump right into some questions, and we'll start with some fun ones here about the Olympics and World Championships. Can you walk us through your successful 2016 season and your dramatic last throw wins at the Indoor World Championships and the Olympic Games? Start right off here.
Well, and it's funny because even at the Olympic trials, I won on the last throw. I don't know what it was that year. It was like the year of the last throw. But 2016 started off great. I remember after the 15 season, I felt really good, getting in shape. The idea was just to get stronger so I can, throw farther and just maintain my fitness and stay healthy. But then we went to won indoor nationals. And then when we got ready for indoor worlds, I was like, okay, whatever happens, happens, because it's indoor. I don't really put too much focus on indoors because the main idea is to get ready for outdoor, especially when it's an Olympic year. So when we got to indoor, I don't know, maybe because I was on U.S. soil and I felt extra motivated, but when I actually threw on that last throw, I think it was 2065 or 20, I don't remember what it was, but I just remember like, what? Did they miswork it? Like, what happened? Was that real? Because I didn't think I was going to throw that far that early. And to me, that was like crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness, like what's going to happen for outdoor? If I'm throwing this in March, like what's going to happen by July? And I remember going back home, training and getting ready. And then like a month after indoors, I woke up one morning and I like was in pain. I was just hurting so bad. And so I went to my physical therapist to find out that I had a bulging disc in my back. And I was like, okay, it's not that bad. We'll just see what happens. And then shortly after that, I got sick and I had bronchitis really bad because I catch bronchitis quite often. And that cough is so serious. I swear, every time I get bronchitis, I should have a 6-pack by the end of it. For as much coughing as I'm doing, like I should have abs all day long. But it went from bulging to actually being herniated. And then that's when the pain got worse. I actually started losing some of my motor skills in my left leg. Started losing some strength. So it was a lot to do and to deal with. So I had to end up going to the chiropractor, and we realized we tried decompression therapy. And then, of course, getting treated and doing his chiropractic stuff. And then I was going to physical therapy. And then I was still trying to lift what I could and then throw as much as I can. And it was like long days. I was up at 8 o'clock in the morning for my first appointment. And by the time I finished with my last appointment, it's 9 o'clock at night. And I was just doing everything that I could just to get my body ready, or maintain what I had and then see what I can gain in between the time, because it's the Olympic year and I've done well indoors, so I knew I could do well. But now I have this injury and I don't know what's going to happen. And that's what, like, my faith definitely stepped in there and carried me through that time. So then we get to the Olympic trials. All I'm thinking is, okay, I have to just make it top three. If I can make top three, I'm on the team. I don't even care to win at this point. I just want to make the team. And right up to my last throw, I was in fifth. I was in second place. I think I was in second place. And at first I was like, okay, Michelle, I'm okay with second place because it's down to the last few throws. Like, second place, I'm on the team. That was the goal, was to make the team, and that's it. But then there's this other voice inside my head, like, Michelle, you know you don't want second place. And I was like, you're right. I want to at least try to win. I can say I tried to win. And so I just had to, like, go to a deeper place of competitiveness and try to give it all I can. And I came out with the win for the Olympic trials. And I was like, okay, like, I still got it. Like, now we have one more step to make. Let's see what happens at the Olympic Games. So at that time, I really was training really hard prior to the Olympic trials. So then after the Olympic trials, I kind of was like, okay, this is now rest and recovery, and this is sharpen up. I don't have to work as hard, but my work has to be very intentional. And from there, I just try to rest, let my body recover, sharpen up, get a little bit quicker. And then when I got to the Olympic Games, I was like, Michelle, this is it. Like, this is your opportunity. You know, this is it for 2016, and you have to go all in. And I remember going into the prelims, and for me and my dad, our thing is always one and done. Like, we try to get one and done so you can go back and rest up. And I was able to do that. So as soon as I threw my one, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Because we started like at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we had our finals at 10 o'clock at night. So I had to make sure I get back as soon as possible to get as much rest to get ready to come back that evening. And I remember getting on the bus, and I was the only one on the bus, and I was like, okay, like, let me go try to eat, take a nap, and start all over again. Like, act like I'm waking up for a new day. And so I get dressed for the finals, and I'm at this point, I'm really grateful in this moment, because there's nothing I can change too much in this moment. All the work had to been done prior to. So, but I was just grateful for the opportunity to be at my third Olympic finals. Like, not too many people get to say that, but I was able to do that. And so we get into the competition. I think starting with the first round of throws, I was in second place. And I was a little frustrated as we went along, because I knew that I could throw further. My timing was still just a little bit off. I was still too fast in the center of the ring, and I needed to be more patient so I could let my legs work a little bit more to have some more power. And throw number one, throw number two, throw number three, throw number four, throw number five. I'm like, come on, Michelle. Like, even if I threw further and I got second place, because I'm like, I'm okay with that, but I knew I could throw further. And so on this last throw, I was, you have to talk to yourself sometimes. And I was like, Michelle, like, this is it. This is it. Like, this is the closest you're going to get to gold. You can stay in gold, stay in silver, or you can get gold. I'm like, I don't want silver because my daddy has silver, so I have to get gold. I said, so, I have to give it my all on this last throw. And I remember going into the ring, and you almost kind of black out everything else around you. And I just kind of focus on what I'm doing in the ring. And so I remember when I threw and how the throw fell, I'm like, okay, that's what I've been waiting on. Like, I knew that I was able to stay patient with my upper body, let my legs work for a half a second longer, and it created more power. And I just didn't know where the shot landed. I'm like, it looks far, but from where we stand, we can't really see. So you're just standing there waiting for the results. And so finally the results come up, and it says Michelle Carter, and it has a number 1 next to my name. And I was like, what? but I had to stay cool because I didn't have the last throw. And the competition is still going. And in my mind, I'm like, I can't give Valerie anything. I don't want to give her any energy, any gas to throw further than what she's already have. So I didn't want to like celebrate too early thinking that I've won and the competition isn't over yet. I could still end up in second place. So she gets in the ring and she throws, and then now we have to wait to see what her mark is because we can't see from where we're at. And then when her mark finally went up, we saw her name, and then she had a number 2 next to her name. And I was thinking to myself, like, really? Like, this how this plays out? Because when you think about like a championship year, you envision this how it's going to go and how the season's going to go, how you might look, how you might feel. But it was nothing what I thought it was going to be, but it was everything I needed.
That's cool.
So,
Michelle,
answer the question.
On the indoor meet, there was a lot going on before your last throw. If I remember correctly, the men's 800 meter was going, and they went one. Yeah. We went. United States went 1-2. So those guys were taking the victory lap. I think Ashton was doing something at the time, and he was. So you had a big delay before your last throw indoors. So what? When you're in that situation, what are you trying to do to keep you cool?
Yeah, and then on top of that, they dimmed the lights and kind of put a spotlight in the area. They were doing too much. It was a lot. But knowing that they were going to do that prior to, I kind of just had to think about as if I still had a whole field of throwers to go through. So I didn't want to think about the fact that, I have all this delay, but if I had a field of 20 women, it would be like almost about the same amount of time. So during that time, I will do what I would normally do, try to time it on how long I'm actually going to be sitting there. So I kind of have a routine where I will sit down for a little bit, and then I'll get up and start moving. And then I'll start doing a little bit of drills, make sure my body's still feeling good. If I need to do a little bit of a stretch, I would. But the main thing, I put my warm-ups back on. Like, I don't stay just in my uniform in between throws. Doesn't matter how hot it is outside, I'm at least put on a long sleeve or something over my body to keep my body warm in between the rounds.
So clearly you talked a little bit about going to that special place on a 6th throw, right? Like when you kind of have to get it done. I feel like for a lot of people, especially less accomplished throwers or just people that are a little newer to the sport, that can spiral the other way of like, instead of making that special like level of focus or that one technical cue or whatever it is a positive thing, it can kind of become oh no, what if I don't throw farther? Like, how do you harness that, and what suggestions do you have for people on that mental side to frame those last attempts or those last chances positively to enhance your throw?
Yes. One thing that I think about too is either you have it or you don't have it. And in timing is everything. And so I could have done all that and it couldn't have showed up that day. I don't really know. You just don't know. But I tend to stay more on the positive side of things. Like I try to make sure that I dot all my I's, cross all my T's, and line everything up so I have the greater chances of being able to do that day by doing all of my workouts, not skipping those things, and staying focused at practice. So for me at practice, I practice staying focused all the way to the end of practice. I try not to let my mind wander too much. And if anything, I get more focused towards the end of practice than I did in the beginning of the practice, because in the beginning, I'm fresh. I can do everything. But then when you get tired, that's when you really have to focus. And I think that's what helps a lot, knowing that I zone in even more when everything isn't feeling good, when I'm tired. So when I get into situations, I can kind of focus a little bit easier. I can turn it on better because I'm used to trying to focus in a situation where I'm not my best. And that's where a lot of the preparation happens at practice, and it happens before you even get to the competition. You didn't think all of a sudden that you couldn't throw well that day, and you thought that this whole time. You had that doubt before that. And so you want to catch those thoughts prior to practice, prior to the track meets, and focus on something more positive. So even if I'm having a horrible meet and I'm just not throwing well at all, I'll just go back and I'll start focusing on something in my technique that I know I need to work on. Hmm. And in that way, I'm not making this whole experience a negative. I'm going to still work through this and gain something from this. And so when I get ready to go back to practice, I could take that piece and connect it to the rest of the training and the rest of the season. So I try to put a positive spin on everything, because you can't get caught up in that rabbit hole like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm trying to throw far, but I can't. But you have to know that you're not going to win everything. Like that whole year, I probably finished 3rd, 4th, 5th in the Diamond League meets. I didn't even go to that many meets that year. But for me, I need to show up when it counts. And what counts is the Olympic Games and the Olympic trials and World Championships and Nationals. All the other meets, it's nice to win, but depending on where I'm at in my training, how I'm feeling, I may not have it that day. But that's okay. But I'm going to turn it into a positive situation and work on something I need to work on. And if it shows up, cool. If it doesn't, all right, now let's go back to the drawing board and figure it out.
Awesome. And I got one more last attempt question for you. On a related note, when you are trying to kind of give that last throw a little extra oomph, do you find yourself more frequently trying to focus on a specific technical cue or up the intensity, or what is it for you that tends to work best to take advantage of those final throws?
For me, it's a technical cue. I know that if anything, if my technique is not in the right order, my chances of not throwing far is greater. But if I'm able to hit that technical cue, I can still throw far even if I don't have all the effort, because the order matters. So if I was able to get my hips around before I actually throw, that's going to put some distance on it. But if I keep doing the same thing every time and letting my upper body go before my lower body, I'm not setting myself up to be successful. So for me, I just focus on the technical cues, because I feel like that's going to take me way further than me trying to muscle it, because now I can mess up my sequence.
Very cool. And at what point did you realize how huge of a kind of historic moment your victory in Rio was? I mean, that you were the first American woman to win a gold medal in the shot put at that point. Did that sink in immediately, or did that take a little while?
It took a little while, because I knew that Erling Brown had won a medal prior to me, and she had a bronze medal. So I didn't look at myself as being the first medalist, because I'm like, someone else did get a medal for Team USA, but I didn't look at it as the first gold medalist. Until someone said it, I was like, really? Like, I didn't even think to put it in that way. But I'm like, I'm the second person, but I'm the first to get a gold. But and that's cool. It's crazy. In my mind, I'm thinking, like, all these years of throwing, it was always my dream to win, but I never thought I'd be the first to win.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And I want to mix in some of the questions we're getting on YouTube. David Espinoza is asking, if you could talk to your younger self, what would you, in relation to the sport, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself, don't hold back. Do not hold back. I think I was a little reserved a lot of times, still trying to figure out who I was, my abilities. And I think I held back a little bit. And I wish I could have just really stepped into who I am and who I was at that time and really go for it. But I was in a lot of uncharted territory, and you just didn't know. And as a teenager, you're just weird sometimes. But I would definitely tell myself, like, do not hold back, just go for it.
Awesome.
Michelle, did your parents, not your parents, your family in general, you're carrying around a big, well-known family name. Did that ever put an extra sense of pressure on you? And if it did, how did you deal with it?
Yeah. Actually, no, it didn't, because growing up, I didn't know anything about my dad in track and field until I got to high school. And then I was like, well, it was my dad. It was a long time ago, and he's a boy, so it doesn't matter. So I didn't take it as extra pressure. My dad knew that people would expect something from me. So when I came to him in 7th grade, telling him that the track coach asked me to join the team and to throw, and he asked me, like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Like, you have no idea. And I'm like, okay, like, does it matter? Like, can I do this? Yes or no? Can you sign the piece of paper? But I had no idea. And I was like, football was one thing that has nothing to do with track and field. And I think my dad also protected us from that. We wasn't around a lot of people who probably would have talked about that stuff with us. He protected us from that pressure because he wanted me to pick track and field because I wanted to do it and I wanted to do well in it. Not because he made me or other people talk to me about it, but he made sure that it was my decision. And he would tell me, like, it's up to you how good you want to be at this. And he would say that I see you have a lot of potential, but the only person that can do it is you. And over the years, as I saw my talent and realized I could actually be good at it, that's what made me raise the bar in my training and everything that I was doing so I can be my best and see how far I can take it.
So then you bring in another dynamic, though. Now your dad's your coach, and he's always been your coach. So how's that?
I imagine that's interesting.
Dynamic work.
Yeah, but I don't know anything else because I never had another coach. Then my dad became my coach. My dad was actually my coach first when I played basketball in elementary school because we played for our church league. And at that time, I wanted to play, and we didn't have a girls' team. So I started out on the boys' team. I practiced with them 2 times. But then when other girls saw that, like, she want to play, like, I want to play. And we ended up getting a girls' team, but then nobody wanted to coach the girls' team. So then my dad was like, well, I'm not going to let my daughter go out there and not have a coach. Like, I'm going to coach them. And so my dad started being my coach, playing basketball. So for him to be my coach in track, it was almost normal already. And, so it was okay. But then over time, I'm a teenager. That's my dad. He gets on my nerves. He's still getting on my nerves to this day. But I know that my dad wants what's best for me. And that's what I had to learn over time. Like, he's pushing me because he sees something in me. He's not just trying to be mean for no reason. He's trying to make me reach my potential and see what he sees in me. So we've had our moments and we have a moment. And sometimes I have to sit down and talk like, now, Daddy, like, I'm grown. I'm grown. Let's talk about this. But we're in a better place because he sees that I want it just as much for myself as he wanted it for me.
We all know your mother controls that household anyways.
Of course. All I had to do was go call my mom, like, Mama, Dad is tripping today. And then he'll call my mom, like, Sandra, Michelle is tripping today. You need to talk to your daughter.
Which way does it go after that?
I don't know. Mostly when she gets involved, we have to get it together. Like, that's it. Like, she was like, it's gone far enough. Y'all better fix it.
Very cool. And can you discuss, you mentioned your faith just very briefly earlier. Can you discuss that and how it has guided you in, your track and field career and just greater in life as well?
Yes. My faith is very important to me. And especially in 2016, I think that's when my faith grew a lot because as athletes, I feel like we have this sense of control of ourselves and of our bodies and mind over matter. You can make yourself do whatever you want to do. And then you get in a situation where you're like, oh, I can't. Now what? Because I was hurt. So what I would depend on was my body to do what I needed it to do. And in that moment, I couldn't. And then I feel like God purposely put me in a position to where I had to depend on him for my strength and for guidance in this situation. And it was hard because I'm so used to wanting to be in control of everything. And he quickly reminded me, Michelle, you are not in control. I am. And it was just also a reminder of how what I do in this life isn't just about me. And it's about giving God the glory and letting people see the love of Jesus in me. See that through me for other people. So in that moment, after I won, and I remember talking about what I went through that year and the faith and all that stuff. And most of the comments that I get is people remember what I said about my faith at the end of the Olympic Games. Because at that moment, I woke up one day and I could barely walk. And then to come back 3 months later and to win the Olympic gold, like that was not me. But it lets me know in the Bible, God says that what is for you is for you. Like he already had this plan for me, but I had to step out on faith and meet him in the middle. I had to help fill in the middle because he said, I have this for you. Now, do you trust me to give it to you, or do you want to go try and get it yourself? And I knew that I was limited in my capacity, but my favorite verse, in which I should have worn my necklace today. I have little necklaces that I've made and I sell that says I can. And it's a reminder that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. In Philippians 4:13, that I, like me, just human, I'm limited in what I can do. But through Christ, I can do all things. He's God. He's unlimited. He can do any and everything. So I was like, let me tap into something that's bigger than me during this time, because I know I can't do it. And that's why I said I was just so grateful in that moment on how everything played out, because I could have never imagined waking up in so much pain, not being able to walk, to 3 months later winning the Olympic gold the way that it happened. And everything that he said was true. And so I was just grateful that I was able to be obedient and that he did what he said he was going to do for me.
Very cool. Very enlightening. And can you tell us, shifting gears a little bit here, but can you tell us about You Throw Girl and the work you're doing there?
Yes. So You Throw Girl is my sports confidence camp. And I call it sports confidence camp because one of the things that I received a lot from parents and from young girls is like, how are you so confident in what are you doing and what you do, especially in an event where it's not girly enough. It's a very masculine event, but I've been able to be myself and be my best self doing this. And especially for female athletes who are larger than most people. Because people look at you and think that you're not strong and think that you're not athletic. Or a lot of female athletes think they have to lose weight and have to have a six-pack and have to be lean. Like, no, like there's a lot of different sports that you can play with what you have. And I've always been taller than most women, bigger than most women, and I found something that worked for me, that I could be my best. And I wanted to get that to these young girls, to know that you are valuable, you are powerful, you have so much in you. We just got to find what works for you and give them the tools to feel confident in who they are as athletes, but who they are as young women. But I think having that confidence on and off the field is what makes you powerful. You can't just be confident in one area in life and not all the other areas. But if you become confident in all areas of life, when you step in any arena, you're even more powerful because you believe in who you are and your abilities and your capabilities, no matter what.
Very cool. And how did that start? And how long has it been going on?
Yes, 2020 will be the fourth year. I started actually in 2017 because I've had this idea for years. It's just been hard to do it because I'm still competing. And it started out as a one-day camp. We had our confidence workshop, and then I'll do some throwing at the end. And then it turned into a 3-day weekend and have girls from all over the country come down And we have our workouts in the mornings, and then we do our confidence workshop in the afternoons and evenings. We work on goal setting. We work on vision boards. We do self-defense, because I think it's very important that young women know how to protect themselves if they're ever in a situation. We do etiquette classes. We have a yoga or Pilates class. And I also do what I call one of my favorite things is the Shot Diva Beauty Workshop, where we talk about, of course, hair, makeup, hygiene, just taking care of yourself as a young woman. And I love it. I enjoy it. We love seeing the girls year after year, and the girls that come there. It's just, we have a good time.
So, Michelle, a lot of that, what you're talking about there is fighting against, per se, some type of stereotype that hey, we can make ourselves as beautiful as we want to be.
Yeah. Because it was funny. Actually, when I was in high school, I remember going to the movies, and this guy was actually trying to talk to me. He was trying to ask me for my number. And as we got to talking, he was like, wait a minute, like, aren't you that girl that throws the shot put? I was like, yeah. He's like, you live in Red Oak? I'm like, yes, I do. He was like, wow, you actually look like a girl. And I'm like, what? Like, what does that mean? And he was like, well, if you think about somebody who throws the shot put far, like, they got to look like somebody named Helga. And I'm like, oh, wow, like, that's what people think. Like, really? But then over time, I started to see that people expect you not to be pretty or look cute and be a great athlete. They feel like you have to look tomboyish or a little rough or not pretty to be good. And then it also challenged me as a professional, because all the other girls would look at me like, why is she coming to the competition looking like that? I had lashes on, a little bit of makeup, eyeshadow, some lipstick, and I had my nails done. Since we're in quarantine, my nails aren't done. But I put myself together to go out there and compete, because in my mind, I want to look my best when I step out on the field. I don't want to question how I look, how I feel. I put my uniform on, I look good, I feel good, so I'm going to go out here and do good. And so I compare it as people getting ready for work. When people get ready for work, you want to look nice for work. You want to look professional. I want to look good when I throw, because those pictures last forever.
Awesome. So this is a personal interest of mine. Like, as a college coach, I feel like the women's throws is one of the hardest events to like recruit, because it seems like, compared to a high school boys shot putter or a sprinter or something like that, there is a smaller population of like, how do you feel we can start to, as a track and field community, as coaches, as athletes, how do you feel like, what are some big steps we need to take to start to kind of overcome that, like, shot put's too masculine for women, high school girls to throw, or some of those stereotypes, and get more young women involved in the throws? Hard question, but
it's a hard question. But I think one thing too, don't train the girls like the boys. It's like the throws always get lumped together, which is fine sometimes. But girls do have different needs and different concerns than boys do. Going into the weight room for boys is easy. For girls, it's a little bit harder. And you almost sometimes have to coax them into it, make them realize that you're not going to look like a man if you lift weights, But if they're doing the same thing that the guys are doing, and they see what the guys look like, they're going to think that. So sometimes maybe separating them a little bit can help. But one thing too that I want to do more of, because I get a lot of college girls asking, like, can they at least come to the camp, or can something happen? Like, I want to be like the coach liaison. Like, I want to come and help and encourage the coaches and help the coaches to talk to the girls about things. Because sometimes the girls feel like it's for the boys, it's not really for me. And if I go there, then what am I going to do? And they shouldn't feel like that. Like, there is a special place for girls in this, in that you can be strong and powerful, and sometimes they need to see that up close and personal, because they may not ever seen it. They never talked to someone who's done it. And on Instagram, it looks cool, but Like, do she do that in real life? Like, what does she really look like? What does she really sound like? And I think that's important because female throwers are so far in between who the people they see at the top or like at the top and untouchable to them. But I really want the younger generations to know that you can do this. However you look, however you build, bring your own personality to this, because the better you feel about yourself, the better you feel about yourself in the ring. And I think sometimes too, there's still that lot of confidence building they have to do within as individuals to make that transition in their mind, that it doesn't matter what people say about what I'm doing, as long as what I'm doing makes me happy and I'm being my best in it.
The show is part of the Youth Throw Girl is really under Shot Diva. So do you want to talk about Shot Diva a little bit?
Yes, I actually got Shot Diva in college because I was the only thrower on my track team at the University of Texas. And there's a song that used to come on the radio, and there was this little part, and all the track girls would say Track Diva. And I'm like, I'm not a track diva. So then when they would say track diva, I started to say shot diva. And I'm like, oh, this works. I can do this. And this was right when social media started. Facebook started when I was in college. So it kind of just stuck from there. But to me, shot diva is a mix of what I am and what I do. Because I'm not like the diva in the bad way, but I'm the diva because I take care of myself and I'm confident in who I am. But then I throw the shot put, and I'm really good at that too. So I brought the two together, and that's how we have Shot Diva. And it's the name of my business.
It's catchy, that's for sure.
Yes.
Awesome. I have to. So we got a lot of coaches here, so I feel obliged. We got to talk a little bit about like training and all that fun stuff. Yeah. How is COVID-19 and our current like situation affecting your training? Has it been hard to kind of refocus and get back to the grindstone out of competition mode? And what does training look like for you right now?
Yeah, it's actually been really different, but I've been enjoying it because I've been on the same cycle for 20 years, 20 plus years. And even though it's not the best circumstances, it's kind of giving me a chance to kind of go back to some overall training, because over the years, I've had the injuries that's kind of pulled me back from training. So when I got hurt in 2016, which led to more injuries in 2017, and at the end of 2017, I had to have knee surgery. And, when you have knee surgery, you got to cut back on the training and let that heal. So I kind of got a little bit out of shape, and trying to get back into shape when the season is going is hard. So it's like, okay, now I can kind of take a couple of steps back and do some things that I wanted to do and build up my endurance for training. So right now I've been running a mile 4 days a week. Because I used to do it in college. I'm like, let me get back to some of my college days. I'm a little older now, but it's okay. We do it a little differently. And doing a lot of body weight stuff. I talk to my girls that I work with all the time. Like, you have to be able to do push-ups and lunges and really have control over your body weight. So that makes a big difference, because now you have to move your body, but it also adds another 8.8 pounds on top of it. And you have to be able to move it. But so going through that, but it turns into like, I do like a body weight circuit. I have some dumbbells. I've been accumulating some weights here and there, but it's just been like a lot of little cardio circuit training situation, which is different for me. But I also been feeling really, really good doing it. Kind of starting to feel like my old athletic self, post surgery, and I'm just kind of enjoying it right now. And now I'm just waiting for the rest of my gym equipment that I've ordered to come in, and try to do as much as I can at home, because right now I'm not still trusting the gyms, even though the gyms are now open. I just don't see why I should put myself at risk like that, because then I don't want to get my parents sick. And my mother-in-law actually, she was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, in December. So I definitely can't get her sick. So I have to be very mindful about where I'm at. So even though it's different, we're going to work it out. I'm actually going to start back throwing next month So I'm excited about that because now I'm like, okay, it's time. I feel the itch. I've been in the house long enough. I got to go throw something.
Awesome. And if you were going to take like a prototypical week of training over the last 20 years, maybe not this year, what would a typical week of training look like for you? For you to like kind of just run us through the week.
Yeah. So we get to Monday. I will jog, stretch, warm up, do agilities, throw, probably spend about 2 hours, 3 hours outside doing that. And that's probably anywhere between 5 to 6 days a week I'm throwing. And then anywhere between 3 to 4 days a week I'm lifting. And I'll probably spend anywhere between an hour to 2 hours in the weight room, depending on the cycle. I'll try to throw some sprints and plyos twice a week in there, in the mix. And I'll normally do that after I throw. So then some days after I throw, I'll just head to the track and do some sprints and plyos. I also, I do Pilates because it helps on my smaller muscles and my body control. And I do that once a week. That's like my active rest and recovery. I get a massage. It is not like the feel-good massage. My massages hurt. They hurt. And then I see the chiropractor probably like every other week, twice a month to take care of my body. So we do anywhere between bench, squat, incline, dumbbell, bench, push, press, cleans, hang clean, snatch. Oh, I don't snatch anymore. Everything when I'm double jointed in my shoulders. So the 2 times that I attempted to snatch, my shoulder just doubles back and it's not a good situation. So I don't snatch. So we'll do push, press, and a jerk, but no snatches. Yeah. Do I do, the mix of strength training and Olympic lifts, work on the explosion, not, even though we're lifting heavy, but we're not moving slow. We have to move fast because in the ring, a throw probably lasts a second, if that. So you have to be able to move pretty quickly with heavy weight. I think that's about it.
If you had to name your least and most favorite part of training, what would it be?
Arms. I can't stand for my arms to burn. I hate it. Like I could do legs all day long, but the minute we get to arms, I'm gonna start whining and complaining. I can't.
Squats for days. Awesome. And
Michelle, I didn't know that about Courtney's mother. Sorry about that. Hope she's doing okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
But how's Gary Aldridge wants to know how's Courtney been a huge aid? Have you been a huge aid in you dealing with training and the mental and emotional aspect of training during this time?
Yes, he has. He's been really good because he's like, okay, he'll ask me about how my workout's going. He won't work out with me. I'm trying to get him to work out with me, but he's like, you know what, you got it. Call me if you need some help. But he's been very encouraging during this time. Whatever I need, he'll do it for me. He'll help the best way that he can. But it's a different dynamic for myself because I've been by myself for so long, not just with that relationship, but like with my training. I train by myself, but it's just me and my dad. So having somebody else in that mix, I think it was a more adjustment for me than it was for him. But I love having him around. He's very encouraging, and and we're figuring out and moving forward every day.
Awesome. I got a couple of technical questions that have come through. When you were developing as a younger athlete, did you ever try the rotation? And why is the glide shot put tend to be more popular among elite women versus elite men?
Oh, I'm like, which answer do I want to give y'all? Okay, so you said when I was developing, say the first one
Have
again.
you ever tried the rotation as you're
Okay.
developing?
No, I've never tried the rotation. Do I know how to do the rotation? Yes, I can coach the rotation. I can do it. I just don't like to. And I think for women, there's just a couple of things because how I look at it, it's like the basics. The glide is like the basic of the basics, and for me. I believe you really have to hit your positions in the glide versus in the spin. Some things you can get away with momentum, and with the glide, if you really work the positions, it's really easy. And same thing can happen for the spin, but I feel like a lot of people switch over because it's really easy to get momentum and throw far. Versus if you are half a second off in your glide, it goes really fast. Versus in the spin, you can kind of make up for it with momentum. Why the guys pick it, I don't know. I think they think it's cool and it looks fun. And I think that's why guys do it. And any challenge where they could possibly hurt themselves, especially when they're young, they're going to want to do it. But I don't know. I just think right now it is the cool thing. Do I think it's the only way? No. But I do think some people use it because they feel like they can get away with more technical things. Because when I talk to people, that's not like the first thing. Well, with the spin, you don't have to do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, if you want to spin correctly, yes, you do. The same principles still apply. It's just the setup is a little different. But people feel like you can overpass some technical things because you have momentum, and you still only will get so far without being technically sound in either technique.
And
do you have certain cues you use when you're throwing competitively?
Yeah, I do. For me, the main one is stay long and over my right, because that's the power position. That's the position you always want to be in. That's where you create the most power. So that's like my number one cue. Like if you look at the picture behind you, to your right. Like you see my left arm is long, I'm trying to stay over my right as I'm pulling my right leg underneath me to set up my power stance.
I saw a drill that you and your dad had done quite a bit in the past where you set in your power position and you keep going down deep until your left hand touches the ground and then you come up out of it. Yeah. Which is a pretty tough drill.
It is. Yeah, it's like you want to maximize your movements.
Yeah.
What I do see a lot, the kids don't like to bend their knees.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're young, like your knees are good. You should be able to get all the way down and up, no problem. But that's the main thing. That was my dad taught me that early. Like the lower you can get and come out of it, the more power you can create. And I kind of compare it, like if you're trying to jump and touch the rim of the basketball, do you stay straight up and down and just jump from your ankles? Like, no, you're trying to bend all the way down and create as much power to get up and touch that rim. You have to bend your knees. Same thing in the shot. You want to bend your knees and give yourself more distance over time to create power, whatever that equation is.
Do you do any multiple weight training as far as with the shots themselves? I mean, do you throw a 3.5K or 4.5K or something like
I have
that?
A 12 pound, 10 pound, 4K, and 3K. I don't go heavier than a 12.
How far can you throw a 12, by the way?
Oh, I don't even know. My dad has all those numbers. What's up with that?
I'm guessing you could put to shame a lot of high school boys with a 12-pound shot.
I think it helps our boys when we're training some kids early in the year and I have a 12-pound and they're already gliding and I start standing and I'm like, hey, don't let me catch you in my stand with your glide.
Then Gary Aldridge has some great questions, and you know Gary. You never foul. You never foul in practice. You never foul standing throws.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because my dad's always taught me, like, we don't want to create bad habits. And if I work on not fouling in practice, then it's easier for me not to foul in the meet. And a lot of people, to me, it makes sense. It makes sense to practice what you want to do. Why would I practice coming out the ring, and then when I have a big throw at a meet, then I'm trying to control myself because I don't practice it. And so that's major. I've always done that. And so to this day, if I foul, most likely it was on purpose because it was a bad throw.
Nice. And you touched on what I think is going to be your number one. But if you were going to name the 3 most important aspects to a killer glide shot put, what would they be? You could only pick 3.
Like technical components?
Yeah, there's like 3 things you have to do really well to throw far.
Oh, okay. Stay over your power leg, block, and have a quick strike.
Very cool. There we go.
Those would be my 3 things.
Awesome. And my kind of going back to the you throw girl, I would imagine there's a wrinkle in that for this year. Have you guys found a way to go virtual or kind of adjust?
Yes. So July 2020, Youth Throw Girl is going virtual. We're getting everything set up on the website, so you can always go to youththrowgirl.com and the information will be there. But this year, it's always been open for all female athletes. We will get actually a few sprinters at the camp too. And so this year is definitely open for all female athletes. So we're really going to hit the confidence part of the camp even more. But we're still going to have some workout components in it because we have to work out. But this year we're going to do some things different. And I'm looking forward to bringing this new virtual online experience to You Throw Girl and to my girls and to new girls who are coming in. I think it's going to be fun. So if you're out there, you have teenage daughters that do sports, sign them up.
We put the link in the comments here, so if anybody that wants to check it out, youththrowgirl.com, and they can. If you can't hear us, then you can read it in the comments. And
yes,
and awesome.
And I know they're working on the website right now, so if you can't get to the website, you can email me at info@shotdiva.com, and I'll make sure you get all the information you need.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. I mean, this has been awesome. Anything else big going on that you feel like you really want to share, or just kind of excited to get back to training and kind of life is normal here soon, hopefully?
Yeah. No, I am getting ready. Excited to go back to training. I guess I don't know. It's like with the camp coming up, and that's about it. Just
awesome.
You follow me on Instagram at Shot Diva. Everything is Shot Diva.
If they go ahead and start having some of these meets in the fall, are you going to try to compete?
I don't know. As of right now, my answer would be no. If you're going to say that, because number one is I have a lot to risk on my end, and then even with myself, I have asthma and I have an autoimmune disease, so I have to be mindful about the places I go and what's going on at this time, because I could get myself sick. And then, of course, we don't want to get my family sick. So it's going to be something that I really have to think about and consider all the way around, and count the costs and see if it's going to be worth me risking getting sick. Or if things get better, then that's different. But if things are what they are right now, it will be really hard for me to go this year.
Awesome.
And how about your throwing career? How much longer are you going to stay with it?
Well, I don't know. I feel like, I still feel good. Yeah. I wouldn't be throwing if I didn't feel like I could do something.
I mean, your knee surgery was your first. That was the first surgery you.
That was my first surgery ever. I've never had surgery. Wow. So, and then that was, I think, was it 21 years? 21 years I've been doing this. And that was my first surgery. So I cannot complain about that. And then, of course, when you're a little bit older, it takes a little bit longer to recover. And but it's okay. I still feel I have more in the tank and still more to give. Right now for sure, I'm looking at world championships, because I can't pass up the opportunity to compete at home. Like that's just like going to be awesome. And now looking at the pictures of the new stadium, even though it's pushed back a year, I still want to compete at home at my country. So I know for sure we can look at that, then we'll decide what happens after that.
Well, you got a good record in Oregon, so you should be well set.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I just thank you very much. I know it's great to hear kind of your mental side of things, especially, and kind of how you approach things, and hopefully get you on again here sometime soon. And thank you so much. And in the meantime, good luck as you start training again, and I don't think you're alone in having that itch to get back to the circle. I think it's getting to be a little unbearable for most of us involved in the sport. So hopefully we can all get there soon. And before we go, I will just give a quick shout out. Thanks MF Athletic and the National Throws Coach Association for helping us get the word out on this. Thanks, Rob. And thank you, Michelle, very much. We appreciate you coming on.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Hey, Michelle, I've in closing, I've told you this many times before, but for all that you have done for our sport, the throwing community, all of women's sports, you absolutely deserve everything that you have and that you will receive in the future. You're a class act. You're a great woman. You're a great person to be around. Your personality is tremendous. I love being around your family. It's just, it's perfect all the way around.
Well, thank you, Rob. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for supporting me over the years. Like you come through for me in some situations, so I really appreciate that.
Well, thanks, Craig. Thanks for coming on. This is great.
All right.
And when are we going to get your dad into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Oh, well, I have nothing to do with that.
There's not a single nose guard in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's
really?
It's criminal. No, there's not one. Nobody. It's criminal.
They're going to have to work on it.
Yeah.
Like we'll talk about all positions matter.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, thanks, Michelle. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And we're no longer